Lee Fang is a reporter for The Intercept, and he decided to ask Hillary Clinton a real question at one of her campaign events. And take note here of how she responds. Now, pay close attention to her face, how she absorbs the question, because she can't make the argument, hey, I didn't hear it, okay? She heard it, she paid attention to it, and then she decided to respond in a specific way. Let's watch and then we'll discuss.
I'm so happy you're part of this.
Hi, Secretary Clinton. Will you release a transcript of your paid speeches to Goldman Sachs? No, there's a lot of controversy over your speeches. Secretary. Is that a no? Secretary Clinton, will you release a transcript of your Goldman Sachs speeches? Yes.
She thinks that she's in a room that already supports her big time. So she's out there shaking hands with, the peasants and saying, oh, yeah, I love you more. Oh, my God, you're such an inspiration. And then a journalist decides to actually do some journalism. And he's like, hey, those speeches you did for Goldman Sachs where you made $675,000. You want to release the transcripts? She listed the whole question. She's like, move on to the next person. Could it be any more obvious? I mean, look, so if she really felt like she has nothing to hide, and this isn't a conflict of interest, and, she's not going to represent them, wouldn't you respond like this? No. Or, I'm sorry, what was the question? Will you release the transcripts? I'm sorry. The real way you should respond is, yes. Or let's say, hey, for whatever reason, there aren't transcripts. I would, but we don't have transcripts. Okay, will you release the video? There's no video either. I wouldn't be doing this segment if she responded like that. Yeah, I'll release it. Or there isn't a transcript. Or, hey, there's no video, but if we come across one and somebody made one in the room, sure, we'll release it. That's how you respond if you really feel like you have nothing to hide. Now, by the way, even if she did respond like that, it still wouldn't change the fact that that money buys influence. So let's be perfectly clear about that. But the way she responds, guilty. Pound the gavel. It's over. She knows that what she's doing is a conflict of interest. It's legalized bribery. It's corruption. So just try to brush it under the rug in a really awkward way so as to pretend like you didn't hear it because it made you massively uncomfortable because you know that that's a real question and it exposes the true nature of your campaign, which is I'm the person who is pro-Wall Street, pro-corporate lobbyists, pro-big money interests. Yeah, I'll be a Democrat kind of on the social issues when it's convenient and when I can get away with it. But on economic issues, I'll give you 2% change, 5% change, and then I'm going to need you to shut up because I'm in here to do the bidding of the people who pay me. And that's Wall Street, that's lobbyists, that's big moneyed interests. Now, having said all that, listen to this fact. This is incredible. Quote, she has recently been on the defensive about the speaking fees she and her husband have collected. Those fees total over $125 million since 2001. $125 million in speaking fees. $125 million in speaking fees since 2001. Guys, that doesn't even include the campaign contributions. That doesn't even include when you run for office and you have big money interests, paying you money or giving it to your super PAC or whatever the case is. That doesn't include that. So it's way more than that. Way more than that. But that's just in speaking fees, which is money directly from corporations and the rich into her pocket for speaking when she happens to not be in office at any particular time, when she's not a senator, when she's no longer the Secretary of State, when she's has a break before she runs for office. Okay, everybody, pay me, and then you're buying influence for if/when I become president. You call, I'm going to answer, and hey, you need a corporate subsidy, a welfare check? Here you go. You paid me for speeches, you helped fund my campaign, And the people take a back seat. First, I'm going to return the favors to the people who put me here. This is exactly the problem with Hillary Clinton. And by the way, this is why she is more unelectable than Bernie Sanders. Because Bernie Sanders in the general election, whoever he's against on the Republican side, he can say, I'm not bought, you're bought. Where's the debate here? Vote for me, I'm going to represent you. This asshole's not. Whereas Hillary, she's going to have to explain away her corruption, $125 million in personal speaking fees since 2001. Never mind the money she takes for her various campaigns. What are you going to say? We know what she's going to say because she stumbled before when she was asked about this. Yeah, I took money from Wall Street because 9/11. That's not an argument. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Actually, it's the second dumbest thing I've ever heard. The first dumbest thing is your response here. Hey, are you going to release the transcript for those Goldman Sachs speeches? Yeah, I'll take that as a no. But here's the reality. On the transcripts, we know because there was some reporting about this at the time when she took the $675,000 for speeches to them. She spoke about how the bankers are so misunderstood and how it's really not their fault. What happened with the economy is really not their fault. Not only is that bad enough because you're giving that speech on Wall Street, it's worse because Goldman Sachs, specifically, we know Goldman Sachs had fraud as a business model. They would sell toxic products to clients, the subprime mortgages, and tell them you're going to make so much money from this. Then they turn around and bet on those products that they just sold as good. They would bet on those products to fail. So you make money both ways. Sell a shitty product knowing it's shitty but pretending it's good, and then you bet on that product to fail, and then when it does fail, you made money two ways. One, off the clients who were suckers, who you pushed a shitty product on when you knew it was shitty, and the other because you bet on the stock on these packages to fail, and they did. Fraud was a business model! And she's like, yeah, I'm going to go speak for these people. They give me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then they could do it some more and get away with it because I'll represent them when I'm president. Which is exactly why we don't want you to be president.